Who knew that making all of these games that we know and love could score you so many victory points? I'm Mike with Expedition Gaming, and this is The Game Makers.
And just before we get going, if you've been enjoying the channel, I'd really appreciate you hitting the subscribe button. Maybe give the video a like too. Every new subscriber helps this channel grow, and it genuinely means a lot to me. Welcome to the factory floor, everybody, where we are going to take the games that we all know and love, manufacture them, and add them into our own shelves to build up our collections. What games, you might ask? Well, how about games like Splendor or Everdell, Lost Ruins of Arnak, Santorini, Scythe? The games that we'll be manufacturing are all real-life games that we're very familiar with. In fact, sometimes I find it to be a little bit of a problem because I will find a game that I'm like, oh, I really want to add this into my collection, and I might choose that, even though it's not the thing that's really going to score me points, but I gotta have it, so that's the one I go with. But hopefully I make good choices during today's playthrough. So at its heart, the flow of this game is all about acquiring contracts to produce a game, getting the resources necessary for that production, and then manufacturing it and displaying it on your shelf. Now, this is the factory that we will use for that production. This can be upgraded quite a bit throughout the course of the game. This is our display shelf where the finished games will go. This also serves as the end game timer. Once somebody has filled up their shelf with 12 games, that will trigger the end of the game. And then this beauty out here in the middle of the table is how we will acquire all of the resources necessary for both manufacturing the game as well as upgrading our factories. So we're all set up for a two-player game. We'll be the blue player up against Yeti, who's going to be the green player. And rather than explaining all the rules and everything that we're looking at here, let's jump right into gameplay, and I will teach you the game while it's in motion. Now, one thing to know about the Game Makers is that gameplay happens simultaneously for all the players around the table. So we're all going to be grabbing resources and assigning them to their respective places all at the same time. Now, one area that is shared among everybody is the warehouse. So let's take a closer look at that. And we have these little forklifts right here. And these forklifts are what we will use to lift the various components out of the warehouse and bring them into our factory. So, for example, we want some cards. So we will take one of our forklifts here and place it in the wedge for cards. Now this wedge is going to provide us 3 of these resources up here. So we'll just draw 3 cards. And we've got Feast for Odin, Railroad Ink, and Dominant Species. Now here's the thing. Every component that you pull from the warehouse can be used in one of 2 ways. You're either going to use it to help create a board game, or you're going to use it to upgrade your factory. So literally every component has 2 purposes. And the moment you acquire that component, you got to decide, am I going to use it toward making the game, or am I going to use it to upgrade my factory? Now, for cards, the way that it is upgrading your factory is the card becomes the contract this is the game that you're now going to manufacture. If you're going to use it as a component, then you simply turn it this way, and now cards become components which are required to make certain games. So as we take a look at these here, what we see along the top are the components necessary to manufacture the game, such as Feast for Odin. Takes 3 cards, 1 level 1 tile, and a level 2 piece of wood to manufacture this game. So, in fact, you know what? Yeah, let's go with this one. It's a good game. So we will stick that in there. Now these ones, we could decide, you know what, we're going to make all 3 of these games. But I think instead, we'll choose to use these as components. So they just go face down right on the components section there. And now we've locked in this card as one of the games that we are going to manufacture. So we need 3 cards. We have 2, so we're going to need to get 1 more card. We need a level 1 tile. We need a level 2 piece of wood in order to manufacture that. At the bottom here, this is the reward that we'll gain when we add this into our shelf. So this would give us 2 cards, and then at the end of the game, this will score us 2 points. So let's keep this in mind. We want a level 1 tile and a level 2 piece of wood. So when we look back out to the factory here, if we want tiles, we need to put a forklift in this section. And if we want wood, we'll need to go to this section. This is actually a perfect lineup for us. We need a level 1 tile, so we can place our forklift right there, and then we can draw a tile from the level 1 tile bag. So you get level 1 tiles, level 2, and level 3. So we reach in here and grab one out. Because we've placed there, we get our level 1 tile. Here we have drawn it, and again, we now have to choose. Do we want to use this component, or this what we just got here, to upgrade our factory, or do we want to lock it in as a component? And I'll explain using tiles in our factory upgrades in a little bit. Right now, we know for sure that this game wants a level 1 tile, so let's just commit it to that game for that. So again, you can just pile up your components right there. One of the things that I've found to be helpful is I kind of like stacking them on the game that I'm committing it to. Just helps me visually remember what I have and what I don't have for it. Of course, it does signal a little bit to your neighbors exactly where you're at status-wise on manufacturing this, but hey, helps me to remember. So we've got that, and we want a level 2 piece of wood, and wood is right here, and the current alignment of the wheel would give us a level 2 piece of wood. So let's take our last little forklift here. We'll drop it off in there, and we can grab level 2 piece of wood. And once again, let's just assign it right to this game here. So now we have the wood, the tile, and 2 out of the 3 cards that we need to manufacture this board game. So we are right on the edge of being able to make this. So we'll just let that be for right now. But that's what that looks like. We had 3 forklifts in the available wedge right here, so we could place them out among the various locations. We got the components. So now we just kind of sit back and we wait for our other opponents to finish placing all of their forklifts out. And once they're done placing theirs out and getting whatever components they want, once this wedge is empty, then we will rotate this whole thing and everyone goes again. Any forklifts in the available wedge get placed out into the various component areas and we receive those. So that's kind of the flow of the game. Now, one of the tricks to doing a playthrough like this is, again, all of this play is supposed to be simultaneous. So normally, as we're placing these out, our opponents are also placing their stuff out. But I'll have to do this kind of individually. Just know that normally this process would be a little bit faster, which means turn to turn, things are pretty snappy. Even if you've got, 3-4 people sitting around the table, everyone's kind of placing out at the same time, and it tends to go pretty quick. But given the fact that cards are the heart of what we are doing, they are the games that we are manufacturing, it makes sense for people to load up on those early on. He's going to lock in Atlantis Rising and keep those as components. Now, this symbol up here indicates the type of game that this is. This is a co-op game. Like ours would be a strategy type game. So there's 4 categories of games. There's strategy games, there are the co-op ones like Yeti has, and then there are like set collection, and then there are like war fighting / conflict games. And those relate to these tracks that are right here. Depending on the amount of those games that we have and how well we push up these tracks, we can score a certain amount of points, again, based on what we've accumulated. So I'll explain this in detail as we move throughout the game. But the other important thing to note about these games is, like you can see on the bottom of this game here, this is going to give you victory points based on how you filled in your display shelf. So specifically, this one will give points for additional co-op games that are in the game shelf, but might be hard to make out because it's small. But these little white dots on the left side of the grid here indicate that every card in these two columns of your shelf would give you 1 point if it's another co-op game. So there are a few different sort of formulas for the way that games score, but wanted to point this out, and we'll kind of point them out as we go along and as games are locked in for manufacturing. So Yeti's second placement will be right there for a level 2 piece of wood. He's also going to lock that in on his game because it requires one of those. And then he's going to jump a second time out to the cards and draw 3 more of these. And he's got a second co-op game lined up already. The rest of these will go as components. So again, one more time, normally that's all happening simultaneously, and we're grabbing our resources and making our decisions and locking things in. And then eventually you'll find yourselves where the current tile is now empty of the forklifts. So when that happens, we rotate this just like that. Now you'll notice that the level of components we have access to has shifted, as well as the type of components we have access to. Now we can get some dice. And a moment ago, we could get 3 cards, and now if we were to draw cards, we would only get 2. Currently, if we want dice, we'll grab level 3 die up there, and eventually, when this rotates, it'll become a level 2 die that we have access to, and so forth. And then the other interesting consideration is we are the only ones with a forklift available to send out right now. Yeti sent all 3 of his out for higher level components, which means he's going to have to wait more rotations until he has access to them. So we have a forklift out. We can send it somewhere. And I would like to send it out to get a die because it would be level 3. And these are the most powerful ones. Something to know about dice is these are not your typical D6s. So the distribution of pips on these dice are a little bit different. It's not 1 through 6. There is a single 3. There's a single 4. There are 2 5s and 1 6. I'm sorry, 2 6s, 2 5s, a 3 and a 4. So it's weighted towards the top end of the scale. And all of the dice are kind of like that. So we have access to the highest level dice. I'd like to get one because rolling dice is how you climb up these marketing tracks. And these marketing tracks are your score multiplier at the end of the game. So it's definitely something you want to be addressing all throughout the game. But we are sitting on 2 cards, and all we need is 1 more card to be able to complete this contract. So with that in mind, I think we'll take this single forklift and let's send it back over here to draw 2 cards. And who knows, maybe we will, again, this is where you have to make a decision. Are these going to be components or do we want it as a contract? So we got Tapestry and Power Grid. Both of these are strategy games. You can see the component requirements. Right now, component requirements, these are things that as you begin building up your factory, you can get certain discounts and you can kind of lean in component directions. We don't currently have that, so we're not super worried about that. The only real consideration there is what do we have access to right now out in the warehouse. But the other big thing is the rewards that we gain out here. Now this one would give us a building / piece of plastic, and this one would give us a tree. I'll explain how we use those in just a little bit. This one would give us 2 cards and then a way to score points. And this says that any games out in our display shelf that required wood as one of their manufacturing components, if we can have them orthogonally adjacent to each other in the grid, then each one of them will score us a point, up to a maximum of 5 points. I don't know if you can read that. It's so small, but so this card could have the potential to score us 5 points. I'm thinking that we go with Power Grid here. As much as I would like the benefits on the bottom of Tapestry, this one here kind of works nicely with this one because Feast for Odin takes wood as one of its components, and so it could factor in as part of the, well, we'll make sure it factors in as part of the chain that scores us points here. So then for this one, we could, if we wanted, we could lock that in as our third contract. Yeah, you know what? I say we do it. We're not in any huge rush to get that completed, and I kind of like all 3 of these. Now this one doesn't take wood, so it's not going to factor into there, but that's okay. I like getting these benefits on the bottom. So yeah, let's do that. So again, we were the only ones with forklifts in this tile, so we're not waiting on anyone else. This is now empty, and so we rotate. Now with that rotation, we have a tough choice. We could go here and get that single card, which is all we need to complete Feast for Odin. But I'm going to do it. I want to come out here. I want to get a level 3 plastic. Now that we have access to it, I'm going to grab this. And as always, every component that comes in, is it going to be a component? And just now, we don't have anything that takes a specific level 3 piece of plastic. Tapestry takes a level 2 plastic, and you're always allowed to overpay. So we could put that in as the level 2 plastic. You don't get any change back if you overpay, but it is allowed. So we can use this as a component, or we can use it to upgrade our factory. And I think that's what we're going to do with this one. Now, when you bring plastic in to upgrade your factory, they go into your structures right here. Now, each factory has 3 different structures, and they're categorized by A structures, B structures, and C structures. The A structure will always give you a way of scoring points at the end of the game. The B structure gives you a place to send a worker to gain a benefit. And the C structure can be a variety of benefits, but in this case, this will be whenever we gain any type of die, we would gain an additional level 1 die along with it. Now, in order for any of these structures to actually come online and work for us, we have to fill in the buildings that are on those tiles. So in this case, we have a level 3 building. We can either put it in the sawmill or human resources. Let's stick it right here in the sawmill. So now we need to get a level 2 building in there. The sawmill will be online, and then we can start bringing workers in to gain a benefit. You drop a level 2 worker here, and you can gain another worker of any size. And of course, when you bring that one in, you can decide, is it going to be a component, or will it be a worker that's in your break room that can be used throughout your factory? So that'll be our placement for that. And that's our only forklift to send out this time around. Yeti will send his forklift over to the dice. He will grab a level 2 die. And level 2 dies have a single 2, 2 3s, 2 4s, and a single 5. Now, anytime you ever get a die, the very first thing that you do is you roll it, and then you decide what you want to do with it. So you get to see the results of the die before you decide to commit. And again, dice are used to climb up these tracks. So now that he's received this and rolled a 3, he can decide, does he want to spend it to climb up 3 on a single track, which, by the way, you can never split your movement among tracks, or does he want to use that as a component? He's going to go ahead and use it as a component, lock it in for above and below haunted. Back to the wheel. The wedge is empty, and so we rotate. I think for us, our decisions are pretty easy. Tapestry needs a level 1 die and level 2 plastic. Oh, you know what? We could get a level 2 plastic right there, though, as well, and bring that online. But then again, we don't have a worker just yet to activate this. So, either way, we know we want a level 2 plastic. So we'll send one forklift here for a level 1 die, and then another forklift right here for a level 2 piece of plastic. So as always, we roll it. Oh, I don't think we mind giving up a single 1 for tapestry. You know, let's go ahead and commit this level 2 plastic to tapestry. Once we get this built, it'll give it to us right back. So we'll put it on there. Yeti will also come here for a level 1 die. And then he's actually going to send this last forklift over to this section here, which is labeled wild. And that it's just what it says. Coming here, you are allowed to grab any component at whatever level is currently highlighted. So by coming here, he can literally grab any level 3 component. And for that, he's actually going to grab a level 3 plastic. So rolling that die, he's going to commit it to Atlantis Rising. And for his plastic, he's going to start working on his direct mail house. This will give him a passive benefit that says every time he plants a tree over here, it will push him up 1 on this track right here, which is a multiplier for scoring trees at the end. Now, we didn't talk about the component of trees. Those are right here. This is, though it's located around the wheel in the warehouse, this is not a component you just come out and take. This is something you receive through specific benefits, such as our game of tapestry here will give us a tree. But the deal with trees is that you want to plant a bunch of these, and then you'll gain 1 point for every tree planted times whatever multiplier you've reached along the track here. So that's times 1, times 2, times 3, and times 4. The trees in the green section, these are all going to be conditions that you meet, such as playing 6 strategy games out into your display case. Whenever you meet that condition, you can grab a tree and plant it. Whereas the pink tree spaces, these are discard the printed resources and then be able to plant a tree. So we could discard 3 dice out of our supply and plant a tree for that. So pink ones are getting rid of stuff to plant. Green ones are meeting conditions to plant. But back to the warehouse. I think for this placement here, let's go right here and we'll grab, we're in the wild section. Let's grab a level 2 wood component. And for this one, we're actually going to use this to enhance our factory. So whenever you bring a wood component in, it actually becomes a worker. And the workers go into your break room to start. And then there are a handful of places you can assign workers to gain either a one-off benefit or sort of a passive benefit. For example, if we send a pair of level 1 workers to here, we could gain any level 1 component. If we send a level 2 and a level 1 worker to this middle row, we can gain any level 2 component. Or we can send them out as an enhancement. These will add to our dice rolls when we're rolling for the marketing tracks, or these will increase our ability to get the right kind of components. So say, for example, we send this guy over to this spot right here. That little plus eyeball means that, say we draw 2 cards from the warehouse, the eyeball would let us draw 3 cards, so it'd let us get an extra draw, and then we could choose 2 from among those 3. So it gives you a little more agency when you're doing draws. The same would apply if you're getting tiles out of the bag. And we haven't seen tiles and how they upgrade just yet, but that's with our assembly line. We'll see that probably fairly soon. But so yeah, when you get workers, they come into your break room, and then there's a handful of places you can send them out to gain benefits. Back to the warehouse. Yeti will send both of these over to the wild section. It's at a level 2, and so he's going to take 2 level 2 tiles. So again, this is where that draw could help out if you're looking for specific types of tiles. But in this case, he's getting exactly his 2. And these are the tiles. And you can see the different icons that are on them. So obviously they can be used as components for the games, or you can add them into your assembly line. And when you do that, you can put these in kind of whatever orientation you want. But what you're trying to do is that symbol right there. You want to get 3 of the same symbol adjacent to each other in a horizontal line. And if you do that, then you will gain a discount of that resource when you are completing your contract. The thematics here are you have built the ability to supply that component within your own factory, so you don't have to outsource it quite as much. So, as an example, suppose Yeti slotted both of those in like that. Currently, this won't give him any discounts. But let's say he got another tile, added that in, and now he's got 3 in a row. So that will give him 1 level of discount for plastic components inside any of his games. So if we look at our tapestry as an example, this takes a level 2 plastic. With this discount, you would only need a level 1 plastic. And if he got another 2 added on here, so you have a total of 6 of these, that would give 2 levels of discount, which would actually eliminate the need for plastic out of this recipe, period. Now, you don't need to have all 6 of those in a row. You could have a cluster of 3 here, or maybe a cluster of 3 over there. So they don't all need to be connected, but 3 of them need to be connected to give you 1 level of discount. So that's the assembly line. If you really crank that up, you can give yourself some pretty good discounts for manufacturing. As it stands, he actually wants these as components for each of his games there. Now we rotate. I think we'll send our first forklift there. We'll gain a wild level 1. We're going to grab a single card. And we got the Castles of Mad King Ludwig. And actually, we're just going to use this as a component. And then we're going to go ahead and complete our first contract here. Now, the game is very forgiving on timing for this kind of thing. You are allowed to fulfill these contracts and add a game to your display at any point in your turn. In fact, the rulebook even specifies that, say you draw 3 cards and you've got 3 contracts in place. You could use 2 of those cards that you just drew to help fulfill a contract to make room for that 3rd card that's in your hand. So you're allowed to kind of interrupt whatever, pause things to be able to complete these out. Well, we don't need to pause anything, but we are going to go ahead and complete this. So we need 3 cards. We have exactly that. We need a level 1 tile. We need a level 2 wood. So we had everything we need there. Now we can complete this, and we will add it onto our shelf. Now, sometimes placement will matter. Right now, this is our first card, and placement doesn't matter. We will right away gain 2 cards, and at the end of the game, we'll gain 2 points. Now, all the components that you use for this, they just simply go back to the supply. So this is the area for the tiles, the wood, and then the cards go into a discard pile right there. And now we'll grab those 2 cards right there as our reward. And we got Nikojima and a War of Whispers. We're not going to use it for either of those. We're actually going to use this to complete Tapestry. So we'll do a little combo here. So we've got the 2 cards. We have a level 2 tile, level 1 die, and level 2 plastic. So we got everything we need. And now we're going to add Tapestry into our display. Now, something to note, you can place your games anywhere you want in the display case. You're not limited to placing it adjacent to other games or anything like that. So you can literally place them out wherever you want. Of course, some of them will score points depending on how you place them. So that's really your only consideration while you're placing this out. And I guess for this one, oh, why not? We'll go right there. And now that it's in the case, we will gain a level 2 plastic and 1 tree. Now for the plastic, we're just going to complete our sawmill. So now it is online. We can send a level 2 worker here and gain any level worker of our choice. For the tree, again, whenever you gain a tree, you're allowed to place it down on any one of these circles. So trees gained through whatever means are allowed to go anywhere. Just bear in mind that once it's placed, you can never move it. So when you are gaining one and placing it, you usually want to go with something that you think you're most likely not going to accomplish on your own. And I know for sure we are not going to accomplish this one right here. The only way to gain this particular tree is through, there are certain C structures that will provide you a tree for that space. We don't have one of those, so we know for sure we're not gaining that one, so let's just cover that one up to begin with. Now looking at Power Grid, we need a couple of wood components for this. We need a level 3 wood component, and we could send our forklift over here to get a level 3 wood. But I think I see something that'll help us a little bit better in for a longer period of time. So let's move over to here. We're going to gain a level 1 wood component. And we're going to bring that in to the break room as one of our workers. Then, now that we have the sawmill online, we can send our level 2 worker right there and gain any level of wood component. And we're going to go with a level 3. But we're not going to put that on Power Grid. We're actually going to bring this one also into the break room. Then we're going to take both of these workers down to here, and we're going to activate this bottom row. It takes a level 3 worker and a level 1 worker together. And now we can choose any level 3 component that we would like. We're going to go with that level 3 wood. And now this one we will commit as a component to Power Grid. So these workers, we now have them as part of our workforce. And they've been assigned to these spaces, and they will stay there until the wheel rotates to the very next space. This line says reset to the break room. So now that these have come together, every player takes all of their workers that have been assigned to various spaces and brings them all back to the break room. So this is sort of a reset mechanism that allows you to get your workers back, and then you can tap into their benefits again or reassign them to other areas. So say, for example, we want to start working on that marketing track. We could assign all 3 of our workers to these 3 different enhancements here, and now each of our dice rolls will be increased by 1. So we would add 3 to that dice roll. Or we can do what we did a minute ago and send them to the sawmill or bring them down here for gaining. So that's sort of the life cycle of the workers. You assign them, you hit that reset out in the warehouse, and then you can reassign them as you see fit. And actually, looking at the warehouse, funny enough, we have literally come back to our starting positions here. This is kind of unusual, but everybody has their forklifts right back to the beginning position. So, you know what? Let's do it again, and we'll come out here for 3 cards. And we've got Fractured Sky by Stealth and Sea. Chronicles of Crime. Oh, Chronicles of Crime. Okay. Not too worried about these guys, but I kind of like the idea of Chronicles of Crime because this is a co-op game. Again, the purple tag there means that it's co-op, and this is I kind of like the theming of this one here. To score co-op games, you're actually paying attention to what all of the other players around the table are doing with their co-op games. And so let's put that in here. And the way that this works is we'll score some points if other players around the table are also working on co-op games. And in fact, right now, that's the only thing that Yeti is currently working on. So he's getting some co-op games going, which means it would be beneficial for us to get into that as well. And actually, if you collect enough co-op games, you'll qualify for the solo game scoring. And we'll see all of that in detail as we move along. But I'm thinking since Yeti's got some co-ops going, be good to at least get one into our display. Now, because of co-op, it is going to help his score out as well. So we could have ignored that, but the fact that he's got a couple of these tells us he's probably at least going for the solo scoring. So he's definitely going to get something out of that anyway. So we might as well jump in on that and kind of tap into some of the co-op party as well. So we'll go with that one there. Then we'll jump over here for level 2 wood. We're going to assign that right to Power Grid. And now we have everything that we need to complete this. So let's go ahead and do that. We'll turn in our level 3 wood, our level 2, and we'll need 1 card for the component there. Now, as we place this one out, we want to make sure that, again, it is orthogonally adjacent to other games that required wood as one of its components. So we need to place it next to Feast for Odin. I would have preferred to get it out into this column or this column, and that's because this scoring criteria here says that we want to have 1 strategy game in each of the columns. So right now we got 2 columns with 1. We need to get at least 1 into these other columns here. Having more than 1 doesn't help you. So that's not helping us towards that goal at all. But it's better to have that there for this scoring criteria right now. Just know that as we're planning this out, we kind of want to get a couple more strategy games somewhere in those columns there. But now we will gain those 2 cards. And animal upon animal. Ooh, and Galactic Cruise. And actually, Galactic Cruise has the same scoring criteria of what we just put out. So we could kind of double up on what we're getting there. That's not bad. All right, yeah. You know what? We'll lock that one in as one of our contracts, and we'll use that as a component. For this forklift here, I hate to not have something available for placement the next time around, especially because we have big dice coming up, and I really would like to start rolling dice and climbing those marketing tracks. It may not be the right choice, but we'll try this. We'll go there for a level 1 tile. We'll set ourselves up to roll a big die on the next turn. And This will give us a chance to maybe start working on our assembly line and building some machines here. So we drew one of these. So this, if we could get a machine built with this, that would give us a discount on wood components. Well, sure, why not? We'll lock that in right there. And then, this may not be a smart move, but it sounds kind of fun. While we're gambling, let's lock these guys in right here. It'll let us draw a level 3 component. Let's draw a level 3 tile. Now, we could lock in this other worker and let us draw 2 tiles and try to keep one. I had thought to keep that worker in right there so that when we roll, let me zoom you in a little bit. This enhancement here would add +1 to the die roll we want to do next turn. But if we locked him in here, that would let us draw 2 tiles and keep one, which would give us a better chance of finding something. Okay, we'll do it. It'll give us a better chance of finding a tile we're looking for. So with that, we'll draw 2 of these tiles here. 1 and 2. Well, neither one of them are exactly what we're looking for here. And of course, we could always use them as one of them as a component for these games, and each of these require a level 3. But it's still early, and I like the idea of lining up some discounts. So let's go ahead and we'll slot this one in over there. We'll get rid of this one back into the bag. So no discounts just yet, but we're starting to build some machinery. Hopefully we'll get something online sooner rather than later. Now, one last little consideration with it. We're not going to do this, but I just want to show you. Whenever you get 4 tiles together and you create that little diamond in between, that's when you can slot in one of your tweenies. These are little one-off bonuses. It's probably fairly faint and kind of hard to see the icons on there. But whenever you create a space for one, then as something you can freely do on your turn, you can slot in one of those tweenies and gain the benefit that's printed on it. This is a one-time benefit. That placement is permanent, and so you want to choose the right time for that. Like this benefit would give us a level 1 plastic, which we could use as a component, or slot it into our studio here and start working on that. So it's another reason why you want to get your assembly line filled in so that you can start activating your tweenies. But in this case, we're going to go for a longer term thing here and hopefully start building some machinery inside here. Yeti will go here for a level 2 wood. He's going to place that right there. And he's going to complete both of these games right here. He's got the tile, the wood, and the dice. He will need 2 cards. Then he's got the tile, the wood, and the dice. Now, both of these have the same scoring criteria. They want to see co-op games in the first 2 columns in the display case. So any co-op games in these 2 columns will score him 1 point. Actually, now 2 points because he'll score that criteria twice. Looks like he's going to be making Cascadia Rolling Hills and Unfair. And he'll hang on to all three of those as components. All right, well, we said we wanted to do it. We'll roll one of these and see if we can climb up the track. All right, nice. Well, we're definitely sticking a bunch of these things out. We will certainly climb up this one right away. And these start at 0. So unless we move these things up to at least the first threshold, any of these other categories of games aren't going to score us. Now, we currently only have strategy in our shelf, but we are working on co-op now, so we definitely want to push that track at some point. We got a tree, we'd like to push that. So just depending on the games we add into our shelves, that'll dictate which of these tracks that we want to climb up. And just to explain this quickly so you understand the scoring for each of these, again, for strategy games, you will gain 1 point for every column that has a strategy game in it. So let's say we got 3 columns filled with strategy games. That would be 3 points times wherever we ended up on that track. So if we ended up like right here, we would have only reached the times 3 threshold. So 3 columns up there would give us 3 points. Times 3, that would give us 9 points. For the blue set collection style games, like the Cascadia one here, every 2 of those in our display case would give us 1 point. And so then you would, whatever we scored with that, we'd multiply it based on where we're at on that track. For the co-op, again, this is one where you need to look at other people's displays. And there are 2 halves to scoring this. The first one says, as long as you have a co-op in your display, you look around the table and see how many other players also have co-ops in their displays. And for every other player who has at least 1 co-op in their display, you will score the number of points printed on that left little icon there. So doesn't matter how many co-ops are in everyone's displays. All that matters is how many players have co-ops. So say you're playing a 4-player game and 3 players have co-ops in their displays, you're going to get those victory points 3 times. In our case, because it's a 2-player game, we're basically going to get 1 point, because you gain those points for each other player. So we don't include ourselves in that. So there would be 1 other player who has co-ops, so we would gain 1 point. Okay, that's the first half. The second half says if you have 3 co-op games in your own display, then you get to score those points. Now this other half doesn't matter what any other player has in their displays, that won't affect it. This just says if you have 3 co-ops in your display, gain those points. So if you can or can't read it, our little tile here says we would gain 3 points if we have at least 3 co-ops in our display. So then however many points you've just earned from all of that, you'll multiply it by wherever you are on that track. Next up is the military or conflict category. This is another one where you're paying attention to each other's displays, because you will score this many points per victory that you have achieved. And victory is defined by having more conflict military cards in your display than another player. So in this case, in a 2-player game, we could at most have 1 victory. But if, say, you're in a 4-player game, you check everybody's displays. And for each display that had less red cards than yours, that's considered a victory. And you would gain those points per victory. Then you take those points and multiply them by where you're at on this track. Now, these tiles are double-sided, and those victory point distributions will change depending on the player count. So that's the 3-player side there. This side is for the solo or the 2-player game, and then there's other tiles for higher player counts. But then the last category here is for the trees that have been planted. This one's very straightforward. You'll gain that many points for every tree that is planted. On this tile, we'll gain 1 point for every tree, and then you'll multiply that by where you're at on the track. And each of these tracks is capped out at a multiplier of 5, except for the trees. The trees cap out at a multiplier of 4. Okay, so those are all of the marketing tracks and the way that they score points. So now that's pretty much the majority of our scores have all been explained at this point. It's going to come from these tracks and the way that they score, as well as the scoring criteria that we find along the bottom of the cards. After our good roll, place that back and rotate. Yeti now has his direct mail house online. And again, that's going to help him whenever he adds trees in. It'll push him up on that tree multiplier track. Kind of in a similar boat. Not super interested in a single card. The dice are good, as we just saw. It's good to roll up there, but I wouldn't mind getting. Yeah, well, we'll get a level 3 building for ourselves, and we don't need this online really till the end of the game. It's a way to score victory points, but we might as well start working on progress. This one at the end of the game will give us 1 victory point for every worker that's been assigned to a space within our factory. And essentially, any workers not in the break room that are assigned to spaces will give us points to a maximum of 13. Actually, I think I just want to keep grabbing some of this plastic and working on these structures. What I really would like to get online is the studio, because then every time we gain a die of any type, we'll gain an additional yellow die. And that's good both for components, but I'm mainly thinking that might help us climb up these tracks even faster. So just need one more level 1 building there, and then we'll have that online. Then that's just a passive ability that always goes off. Yeti will go there for level 1 die. And he's going to jump over there. And for his level 3 component, he's going to grab a level 3 tile. He will commit that to that game. 4. He's going to push up on his co-op track. One little bit of distinction. The rulebook does say that you're supposed to place a single forklift into a new spot, fully resolve that forklift before you do another forklift and its actions. I'm doubling up on some of these things just for filming purposes. It's a little bit easier as far as bouncing around with camera angles and just trying to be efficient with our time here. So you really are supposed to resolve fully one thing before you move another forklift, but just thought I'd mention it. We've got an easy decision. We're going to go right there and get that level 1 that we were wanting. And now our studio is online. So anytime we get a die, we'll gain that extra yellow one. For his level 2, he will take another die. And 4 is fine, but he's going to use it for Cascadia, and then he's going to go ahead and complete this one. So it's going to take 2 cards and that die. And he can place this one out. The scoring criteria on this one wants to see rows with dice in them. And he's got, you know what? He could do this. He can do this. By placing that there, he completes that one. So now every row has at least one game with dice as part of the ingredients. I think I see a fun little worker combo thing here. We're going to go there for level 1 wood. We'll go there for a level 3 wood. We're going to go here to draw some tiles. But before we draw them, we're going to take these workers and assign all of them to these enhancements. So now we can draw 3 additional and then choose from all the ones that we draw. So this should give us some pretty good agency over this tile draw. And as soon as we rotate, those guys are all going to come out and we can assign them however we want. But for the tile draw, so we will gain 2, 4. So we got a couple of options. If we go with this one, we could slot that in, and then that would give us a 1 level discount on wood. Or we could slot that one in, and it would give us a 1 level discount on cards. Either one of them seem good. You know what? We'll stick with the cards, mainly because if nothing else, it'll give us a spot to put a tweenie should we feel the need arise. So we'll go with the card discount. And then the rest of them just go back in. Yeti will place there for a level 1 wood. He will commit that to there. And then he's actually going to complete this contract. He has the 4 cards he needs. He's got the tile. And now he's got the wood. Figures will place it in there. Doesn't help with this condition, but if he's going to score this category, he needs a strategy game inside every column, so that will do that for him. But he will gain 3 cards and a tree. And just like us, his C structure will not gain him a tree, so you might as well place it into there. But now his direct mail house does go off, and because he gained a tree, he will push up on that track once. He's going to build Iridia, the paths we dare tread, and Andromeda's Edge. All workers reset. And we're currently the only one with workers. Well, we have all the cards we need for the contracts we have, but I wouldn't mind having a 3rd contract to work on. Raja of the Ganges, Pictures, and Concordia. Let's see. Well, point-wise, Concordia would double up those points there. This would give us a worker and just 2 points. No points there, but cards and push up one of our marketing tracks. Let's go with Concordia. I like the idea of doubling down on the point scoring we're getting out of that. Yeah, he will also get some cards. And he's going to contract River of Gold. Use those as components. Both of those for some workers. Actually, he's going to change that to 1 worker, 1 level 1 tile. He's going to slot that in. Start working on his assembly line. Before we move this guy, I want to do something. Maybe this is nuts, but I want to... you know what? We'll do it this way. We'll put him there, which will let us get any worker, and we'll just get another one of those level 2s. And then let's lock one of everybody in here. And now every time we do advancements along our marketing tracks, we'll add 3 onto that. So with that, let's move up here. We will gain one of these, and then our studio will go off, and we'll gain one of those. All right, so we've got 5 plus 3, so we'll get 8 advancements. And let's keep pushing up this one. So we got 3 plus 3. We know we're shooting for co-ops, so we might as well jump up on this one 6 spaces and at least cross 1 threshold with it. Yeti will go there to grab a level 1 worker. Now he also has the ability to slot in workers for a level 2 component, should he wish. All right, one of the things I'm looking at here is all 3 of our contracts require a level 3 tile. And when we look out to the wheel, that wedge is right here. And so in order to receive a level 3 tile, we're going to need to have forklifts right here so that by the time this thing rotates around, those forklifts would jump over. So we have 1 in place. And let's go ahead and put another one in place so we'll at least be able to get 2 of those, and we can keep working on our track advancements here for a moment. We definitely want to get more components than just what we're doing, but this feels like it's serving a couple of good purposes, especially while we've got these guys slotted in here, giving us maximum benefit on our rolls. So that'll give us another 8. I don't know, maybe it's better to spread these out across multiple tracks, but I feel like why not really specialize in one that we know, we're working towards. So and we need 5 more to max that track out, and that's it. So there's 2, 3, 4, 5. So all right, so we've capped that out. We're good on that track. Any other advancements, we'll push up something else. Yeti will also test his luck with some dice. And with the 2, he's just going to commit that to here. Again, remember, you can always overpay with components. And so for a poor roll, he'll just commit it towards that. And it's going to take both of these as 2 level 2 plastics. And it's going to bring his Jumbotron online. So now he can assign a worker here and push up 3 on a marketing track of his choice. And boy, I'm tempted to do the same thing. All we need is 1 more of those, and we've finished off all of our structures. Why not? It's in front of us. Let's do it. All right, so now we're going to be thinking about getting enough workers to fill in all these various spaces, which actually we need 6 here. I think we need 7 more workers to really cap that out. Well, ours is straightforward enough. Come down here and we will get 2 tile draws. Now, here's a tricky thing. Do we slot these ones in here and increase the amount of tiles that we can draw, potentially building up our assembly line? Or do we just strike while the iron's hot? Because we could grab both of the level 3 components that we need here, and then we could slot this in to gain that 3rd one. Take care of all of our tile discounts. But I'll tell you, I wouldn't mind building tile discounts into our assembly line. So either one of those feel good. Hey, you know what? Let's go for it. Let's see if we can build some more discounts into our assembly line here. So we'll slot these guys in right there, and we'll do these one at a time. So for our first level 3 draw, we'll pull out a total of 3 tiles. And we got some dice, some plastic, and oh, you know what? I kind of like, yeah, let's do this. We will slot that in right there. And now this gives us a one level discount on plastic components. And what I'm really interested in is this one here, beginning to build out some discounts on the tiles. So we've got 2 total discounts now, and hopefully working on a 3rd category. So that's draw number 1. And now for our other forklift. Oh, we have some decisions. We could slot that in there and we would get a tile discount, or we could slot that in there and get wood discount. I say we go with the tile discount. We always have the ability to grab level of wood of our choosing right here. So with that, let's go ahead and place this in place. It kind of doesn't matter where we put it. We're not going to be able to get another discount. We could get one here. We would not be able to get 2 discounts lined up here. So we'll stick it like that. And now we've got several spots for tweenies for whenever we're ready to use them. Yeti's going to follow in our footsteps, and he's going to draw out a level 3 tile. He's just going to commit that to right there. Let's jump back over here, and we'll draw. Again, we have that increased draw, so we'll gain 3 of these. And every one of these only require a level 2 now because we have 1 level of discount. So none of these would set us up with a new discount, so we'll go ahead and use it as a component. We'll just put it on Galactic Cruise here. Yeti will also grab level 2 tile. He'll go there to grab a level 1 worker. And then he's going to assign these 2 right here. And he's going to grab a level 2 wood component. Everyone will reset back to the break room. And it looks like Yeti is now working on building up his own little workforce here. Let's put 2 of our guys right here, and then we're going to grab 2 level 1 wood. We're going to just really kind of work on building that up. We need a total of 6 level 1 employees, and we now have 4 of them. So we need a couple more of those. We need 1 more level 3, I think 2 more level 2s. So working on that mainly so that we can get max points for that. And of course they're useful. So working there. And then I think let's do this again. We're going to take another trip around the wheel here, rolling some dice. And Well, that's not great, but does make me glad for these guys here. So we'll take all 6 of those on this track right here. Keep pushing that one up. Now, one interesting thing is timing-wise. Let's say we didn't have these guys in that spot. After you roll your dice, you are allowed to then slot in some workers. If maybe we rolled a 3 and we're like, oh, that's bad. You know what? Let's boost that up a little bit. So you can wait to see what you've rolled prior to committing those guys to that slot there. He's going to drop these guys in right here first to gain a level 2 wood component, and then he's going to complete Iridia. And now he's going to contract Everdell Farshore. Go right there for another level 1 wood component. Well, looking at this arrangement, we have no need for plastic at this time, so we can completely ignore that. And we really don't need cards in the moment, so if we dump them both in here, we can roll some dice, and that will give us access to level 3 tiles or level 2 of anything, which sounds pretty good. So we'll go here and we'll grab 2 of these. And of course, these will all be market track advancements. So that's going to be 7. And all right, not a great roll, but again, I'm glad this is boosted up here. And now we are 1 spot away from there. I think this is a really good time to use one of our tweenies. So we'll use this guy right here. We'll slot that in, and this lets us get 1 advancement of any track. We'll take that right there to get us to the very top. Grab himself a level 2 die. Now again, he could assign some workers here and boost this up a little bit, but 5's a pretty good roll. So he's just going to take that and make sure that this track at least hits a multiplier. We get a level 3 tile, and he's just going to commit that right to the River of Gold. Place that right there. And in fact, he'll complete this. So take 2 cards, his level 2 tile and plastic. Now, one of the things I'm worried about is we're doing a great job of building up our factory, but it's at the cost of progress on our shelf. And it's essentially a race game, because whoever finishes their shelf first, that's going to trigger the end of the game. And so if we're sitting here with a half-empty shelf but a full factory, that could be a problem. So we definitely want to get caught up with Yeti over here. He's got twice the amount of games on his shelf. So I think we'll send 2 of these over to here to grab 2 level 2 tiles. So for each of these, oh, this is the hard thing. Now with our one level discount, each one of these takes a level 2. So we could slot these in and we have all of our tile needs met. But we could also slot that in right there and gain a new discount on wood components. Yeah, you know what? Let's split the difference. We'll use that there. We'll slot this in right here. So now we've got a discount on wood components. And with that in mind, let's drop over here and we'll gain a level 2 wood component. And then we can place that on Galactic Cruise, and now that will meet that requirement. And in fact, let's go ahead and complete both of these. So we have a 1 card discount for each one of these. So we'll do 1 card there, and our 1 level discount on tiles fulfills that. Same discount over here, 1 card down by 1 for each one of these. So we have everything we need for both of these. Yeti will put his last forklift there, and he's going to grab a level 2 die. And again, with that 5, he's not going to worry about slotting anybody in. He's going to keep spreading out a little bit. He's got each of these style game in his display, so now he's at least crossed the threshold to help them score something. He's going to slide right to there, grab a level 1 wood component, and add in right there. And then he's going to go ahead and complete this. That's going to take 1 card. This will gain him a level 1 tile, and then score him 1 point for every strategy game that is orthogonally adjacent to each other, up to a max of 5. He's just going to commit that to Everdell Farshore, and he's going to go ahead and complete that as well. He's got the 3 cards he needs. And of course, this one wants to see set collection games, 1 inside each row. Now here's an instance where etiquette around the table is, prior to rotating this, you just want to check with everybody, hey, we all set to rotate? And this is where timing would matter here, because in this case, Yeti doesn't want to rotate just yet. You don't rotate this the moment this empties out. Everyone finishes out what they would like, and then when everyone's set, you rotate. So prior to this coming back and resetting workers, Yeti would like to commit his workers. So he's going to activate the Jumbotron here, and that's going to let him move up 3 on a track of his choice. So he'll go there, and then he's going to commit these to right there, and he'll use it to gain a level 1 worker. And with that done, he's set for the rotation, and now everybody will reset back to the break room. Oh, you know what? Actually, we would have done the same thing here prior to the rotation. We'd slot some guys in, so let's do that. So I think we can use this as a moment to help fill in the ranks here a little bit. I think we need 2 level 1 workers, 2 level 2s, and 1 level 3. So if we do a little fancy footwork, we can go to right there, and that'll gain us, we're going to choose a level 2 worker. We'll place him right there, and we can gain any level worker / wood component. And we'll grab a level 1, And then we can go here to gain a level 3. And then we can go right here to gain a level 1 again. And then just to sort of demonstrate, we now have all of our level 1 workers, all of our level 3 workers, and we only need 1 level 2 worker, and we'll have a full workforce. So we're sitting really good as far as scoring out this tile here. But now with all of those placements done, we would rotate to reset, and everybody comes back. We're going to need a bigger cafeteria. Well, let's see what new contracts we can get a hold of. We have Star Realms, Bomb Busters, and the Game Makers. Oh, how can we not go with this one? All right, yeah, we gotta go with that one, no matter what. You know, I'm thinking another co-op would be pretty good. Well, if we do this, we're really kind of committing to getting 3 of these, because having 2 co-ops is the same as having 1 as far as scoring this track goes. But if we do 3, then we'll get to score the solo side of it. And given that we have maxed this track out, that seems like a good idea. So we'll do that. And then we'll just use that for a component. Let's place one of them there. We'll get a level 1 tile. And then we could increase that draw if we wanted to. We certainly have the workers, but I'm not worried about it at all. I actually just want that to lock into there. With our 1 tile discount, all we need is a level 1 for the game makers here. So we're good there. Place there to get a level 2 wood component. And we're overpaying, but that's okay. We'll draw from the back pile. Both of those are going to go right there. And then he's just going to put them both right there as components. All right, real quick, we're going to slot this guy in right there. We're going to gain ourselves another level 2 worker. Now at this point, that completes every workforce need that we have. And so with that, there's actually, as far as I can tell, no reason not to go ahead and fill in all of our enhancements and just kind of have them always active. Because now we actually have the 2 we need for that, the 2 that we need for that, and the 2 that we need for that. So we're always able to keep our enhancements online, and we can tap into a free level 1, 2, or 3 resource whenever we need to. So why don't we put out to there? Go ahead and roll a die. And 3 boosted up by 3. We'll go ahead and push up on the tree track here. At least make that worth something. And if we get more trees along the way, great. I almost forgot, when we got that die, we gain an extra yellow die. So that's another 7 movement. Wow, okay, nice. We'll just push up there even further. It will go there for a worker, there for a die. He's going to boost that. He's going to put 2 workers in there and take that up to a 7. and go like that. For us, we're going to move to there, grab a level 2, which will also gain us a level 1. Seven. Oh man, that would take us to the top of this track. But we also need, I hate to do it, but we're just going to lock that into right there. And then that is 4. Well, we might as well use it on here. 1, 2. Eddie will go there for a level 3. He's going to work on getting his nursery. Now for us, there aren't any level 3 components that we need right at the moment, and we don't need any level 2 plastics. So we'll come over here, which will get us 2 yellow dice. And we'll lose a little bit, but we'll take those 5 advancements to tap that track to the top. Whenever you get to the top, any further advancements, there's no extra benefits or anything like that. You lose the extra advancements. So for those 5, we don't have any games that lead us in a direction, so I suppose let's just boost up that one right there. Eddie will come here and he's going to grab a level 3 wood component. He's actually going to add it into his break room. For us, we're going to go here to gain a level 1 plastic. And then we're going to go both of these right here, and we're going to gain 2 level 2 tiles. Plastic, we're just going to commit to bomb busters. And again, we have a 1 level discount on plastic. So this level 2 is down to a level 1. And then, wow, for these tiles, we have max draw, but at this point, I'm not worried about building this stuff up. We're just going to take both of these and put them down right there, because again, with a 1 tile discount for each of these, we only need level 2s. Actually, looking at this, we're gonna, instead of putting our plastic down here, we're gonna put it down right there. And that's actually gonna let us complete this game. So we have a 1 card discount, so we need 2 cards. Our tile discount takes that down to a level 1. Our wood discount removes the wood cost completely, so we don't have to worry about that. No discounts on dice, we're good there. Our plastic discounted down to 1, so we are manufacturing the game makers. We'll put that right there. Now these are doing dual purpose for us. Of course, these one orthogonally adjacent games that are requiring wood components, that adds on to that line. This one wants orthogonally adjacent strategy games. So this little, actually that one's all completed out. We have 5 of those for that. And now that we've placed it out, we will gain 8 cards. So we've got Sky Team, Hanabi, Raiders of the North Sea, Cat Flux, The Crew, Through the Desert, Santa's Workshop, and Sheriff of Nottingham. Ooh, okay, well we got some good choices here. I know we want to do another co-op so that we can score for the solo side of things. So looking at what these guys score for and the requirements, let's go with Sky Team. And then, you know what? Let's pause this for a second. Let's make some room. We can definitely complete some of these. So we'll start by popping those guys in right there to gain a level 1 wood component. No, we don't even need to do that. We have a discount, so that actually removes that entirely. So we're good there. That's what we need. We'll discount. We have a discounted plastic requirement, so all we need is a level 1 there. So we'll grab that from there. And now this one is complete. And we'll put that right there. Then this one's ready to go. We have a 1 card discount. We're good there. That's discounted by 1, and we're overpaying on that, but that's okay. So for this one, let's definitely place it in there. That's our last opportunity to get a strategy game in the final column. So we're all set there. Now that's going to give us a level 1 tile. And with our enhancements, we can draw up to 3 of them. So we've got those 3. We could notch one of these in and start working on another set of discounts here, and also give us another spot for a tweenie. Looking at these cards here, now that we have room for them, which ones do we want? Well, we're up on this track, so it probably would make sense to grab maybe a couple of these set collection ones. And looking at their scoring, let's do this. All right, we'll grab Cat Flux and Santa's Workshop. The rest of these will be components. So actually, these things won't help us to complete these. We don't need that because it's discounted off, and this is 1 level short for that. So we're either slotting it in here, or we're hanging on to it as a component so that we can discard it to plant a tree with it. We'd need to get rid of 4 tiles of any size, and then we can plant a tree through that. And we do have that track maxed out. Yeah, why not? We'll hang on to it as a component and maybe get enough of them that we can discard it for a tree, or maybe we'll use it for some future game. He's going to move this to right there, and he's going to gain a level 2 worker. We'll bring that in there. And then he's going to assign those to grab a level 3 wood component. We'll put these right here to gain a level 2 tile. Then he's going to complete this. Put that right there. That will gain him another level 3 tile and a tree. He's feeling fairly confident he's not going to put out 6 of the set collection games, so he'll put that there. This will go off, pushing him up once on that track. And then his level 3 tile, he's going to assign it right there. Place over there for a level 3 wood component, which will go here, and he's going to complete this. And he will take this guy and assign him right there. He's going to push up 3 more on that track. And he's going to assign these guys and grab a level 1 tile and add it in right there. For us, let's drop in over here, and we're going to grab a level 2 tile. I'm not even worried about our enhancements. What I'm really worried about is completing these games out here. So whatever we get, we get. We'll place it right there. And now we can go ahead and complete this right now. Actually don't even need that on there because it's discounted, it's free, but Oh, yeah, it's not committed. Got to remember that. Just because we have them on the cards here doesn't mean it's committed to that. So that's just helping me remember what we've met. In this case, we only need to pay 5 cards for this. Now, that is all that we have. So that will clear us out for cards. But we can complete this. We'll place that right there. And now, all these workers are about to reset in a second. So it's use it or lose it. Let's go there. And we will grab an orange die. We can roll it. But we're just going to commit it right there. The card cost is free for that discount. That's down to 2. The wood component is free, and now we have the dice. And we will slot that in right there. Now we can actually do a little fancy footwork to complete this one as well. The first thing we're going to do is slot in that tweenie there, which will let us draw 2 cards. And we got Patchwork, Windmill Valley. You know what? We'll do this. We need one of these cards to pay for that. And so let's build Windmill Valley. And that will end up, these will be the last 2 games that we need to complete our display. So put that one in as a component. And then let's activate this one to gain a level 3 tile. So that's good. We'll overpay, but again, that doesn't matter. This wood component is discounted down to a level 1. So we'll use that tweenie, which will gain us a level 1 wood component. And now we have everything we need to complete this. And that should do it for us. So now everything resets back to the break room. And all we need is one more card in our display, and that will trigger it. Yeti is 2 cards away. He has Lisboa, Skyrise. Go there for a level 2 wood component. Well, with what we're sitting on, we can complete this and end the game, and there's really no reason not to do that. So I think the way we'll do this is, again, we want to fill all of these in by game's end. And the way the end game trigger works is, again, once anyone has filled up their display, that will trigger the end of the game. You'll finish out the current turn using up all forklifts in the wedge. Then the warehouse will rotate one more time, and everyone will get one final turn using whatever forklifts are available. Even if you don't have forklifts available, you can still take other actions like slotting workers in and so forth. At that point, the game comes to a full end, and that's when we'll go into final scoring. So for us, that is free. What we basically need for this is a level 1 wood component and a level 2 tile. So let's grab our level 1 wood component there, and then we will grab our, you know what, it may not matter, but instead of that, we will go there for our level 1 wood component. So that's there. We'll go here for our level 2 tile. Now this is ready to complete. will slot in will gain 2 cards and 1 tree. We've got Gaia Project and Patchwork Christmas. These we'll just stick there as components. And then we actually get to put out a couple of trees. First off, we just filled up our grid, so we can put a tree out there. We gain the tree as the reward from the card. Well, we're certainly not putting 6 of those out. Those are the war games. And then let's use this tweenie right here. That lets us put out specifically this tree right there. And I'm just realizing we should have put out this tree when we reached the top of the tree marketing track. So that should have already been out there. And again, there's no reason not to, suppose we could have done this right away when they reset. There's no reason not to have them in there because we've got a full workforce. So those guys are assigned. Oh, and I'm also realizing we placed out 6 strategy games. I think we actually did that a little bit ago. So we can place one of those out. We definitely won't get those 3 there. This needs 1 of each type of game, and we didn't put out any war games, so we won't get that. We've only got 3 co-op and 2 of the set collection. If we could go to hold of 7 cards, we could add another tree there. We currently have 2 cards there. All right, you know what? Let's do this. I'll send him over there. That'll gain us 3 cards. They are Role Player, Through the Ages, and Brass. Oh, man, these are all great games. Okay, so that'll give us a total of 5 cards. Then we'll use this last tweenie here. This one says that we can reactivate a previously used tweenie. We'll activate this one to draw 2 more cards again. Cthulhu Death May Die and Yokohama Duel. All right, now, this little pile of cards here, we're going to discard all 7 of these so that we can add that tree. And then we'll come over here for a wood component, and then we will slot both of these in for more wood components. A level 1 and a level 3. And then with these 3, we can discard them to claim that tree. This one says spend any 3 wood pieces. So we've done that. Now we got a respectable little forest going on over here. All right, now, so we have triggered the end of the game. Our display case is filled, and we're done with our placements here. So this is going to rotate one last time, and now we'll get to place this out once, and everyone will do whatever free actions they want, and then we'll end it. And I think for this one, let's just jump up here, and we're going to grab a die. And of course, that'll get us a yellow one thanks to our studio here, and we'll use it for climbing up the blue track. That's going to be 7. And then another 5. And we really don't have any more free actions because we just went crazy in our last one there. So that should do it for us. Now Yeti doesn't have any forklifts to place out, but he can do any placements over here that he would like. He'll place these right here to gain a level 3 tile. He'll place these 2 right here to gain a level 2 wood component. And now he's able to complete this. And then he will assign these guys right here and then place these two right there to grab a yellow die. All right, so that's a good roll. He's got 4 plus 2, so he's going to go up 6 on a track. He's going to jump up to right there. And then for this one, he will push up 3 on another track. And he'll take it there so that he crosses another threshold. And that does it. We're out of free actions, and so that brings the game to a close. And now we move into final scoring. Now to handle final scoring, we'll use this score pad right here. And this gives you a nice breakdown of everything that we're going to score. So this section right here represents your display case. You'll score each card individually and then subtotal each row. This is going to be the 4 marketing tracks that we've been pushing up. This will be our structure A, how those all score us points. And then this will be how we scored on that tree track. Now the BGG rank and the top rate games, this is kind of neat. They use this as the tiebreaker. And if there is a tie, then the player who has the highest ranked game in their display case would be the winner. So let's go through this bit by bit. So this card here will just give us 2 points. No points for that one. Now this card and this card are going to score the same. They will each give us 1 point for every co-op game in these 2 columns here. We have 3 co-op games, so each of these cards is worth 3 points. So that row will give us a total of 8 points. Next up is Power Grid, and again, the scoring requirements here are we'll gain 1 point for our largest group of orthogonally adjacent cards that have wood in the cost requirements. Now, 1 point of clarification, I think I was maybe saying earlier that they need to be adjacent to this card. They don't. You just look across your display, you find your largest group of orthogonally adjacent cards, and this will score for it. Now, this happens to be part of that group because we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we will gain the max, we'll gain 5 points for that. And this one's going to score the exact same way. We'll gain 5 points for that. This one is going to score the same, except for instead of wood components, it's going to be strategy games. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for that one. So all of these will give a total of 5 points each. And then this one here is any cards that take a tile as part of its cost requirements. And all 6 of these cards required tiles, so we'll gain a total of 6 points for that one. That'll give us a total of 21 points. Next up, no points for that one. This one is every row that had wood cost requirements on one of its cards will give us 1 point. We're good here, here, and there. So this will give us 3 points. This scores the same, but it's looking for cards as part of the cost. And again, we have cards in each row that will fulfill that. So that's worth another 3 points. And as we've seen, this one wants to see each column have a strategy game inside it, which we have that. So this will be a total of 4 points. That row will give us a total of 10 points. Next up, we'll look at our marketing tracks. And just like Concordia scored, this first column is going to give us 1 point for every column that has a strategy game. Of course, we had 4 for that. So we'll gain 4 points times our multiplier of 5. So this will give us 20 points. Next up, 1 point for every 2 set collection games. We have 2, so that'll gain us 1 point. We're at the 3 multiplier, so this will be a total of 3 points. Then we have the co-op section here. We have co-op games. We know Yeti has co-op games, so we will score 1 point times 5. So 5 points for that side. And then we did get 3 co-op games in our display, so we'll qualify for the solo scoring. So that'll be another 3 points times 5 for 15 points there. So we'll get a total of 20 points on that track as well. 5 for the shared and 15 for the solo. And of course, we did nothing with that track there, so we will get 0 points there. So our marketing tracks will give us a total of 43 points. Next up is our Structure A scoring. And again, this one will give us a point for every worker we had assigned throughout our factory. We got all 13 of them out, so we'll gain 13 points for that. And then finally are the trees. And with our little forest here, we have 8 trees out. Each one of them will give us 1 point times our multiplier of 4 for a total of 32 points for a grand total of 114. So now, looking at the BGG rank and the top rank game, this QR code will take you to a pretty neat little tool that Bezier put together. So you scan this QR code, and it will take you to this website here that will allow you to scan the shelf, and it will give you the BGG rankings of all of the games in your display. So you just get it framed out properly, snap the button, and there you go. It gives you the rankings of all the games on your shelf. So for us, our top ranked game is Feast for Odin with a rank of 27. And there it is, that's our game. So now let's add it up for Yeti and see how we stack up. So Yeti has Above and Below Haunted, and this one, actually all 3 of these are going to score the same. It's going to be 1 point for every co-op in these 2 columns. He's got 3 of them there, so each of these cards will be worth 3 points. He did not get a card in there, so that one is blank. The next 2 cards will give him 1 point for every column that has a card that had tiles as part of its cost, and each of his columns has that. So each of these cards will get him 4 points. Next up is Skyrise, and this will be a point for each adjacent set collection card. He's got a total of 4 of those. And then this one is going to score him for every row that has set collection cards in it. All 3 of them do, so he'll gain 3 points for that one. No points for that one, none for that one. This one will give him a point for his largest strategy game cluster, and he's got 3 there, so that'll be 3 points. And this one is a point for every row that has dice in the cost requirements. And each row does have that. So he'll gain 3 points here and 3 points there. So his first row is 14 points. Second row is 10. Third row is 6. For this column here, he didn't climb it at all, so he will gain 0 on that one. For set collection, he has a total of 4 cards, so he's got 2 sets of that. So he'll get 2 points times 1 for a total of 2 points. And similar to us, he will gain 1 point for the fact that we all have co-ops. He's at the level 3 multiplier, so the first half will get him 3 points. And then he did get the solo scoring as well, so he'll gain 3 times 3, 9 points there. So total of 12 points on that track. And then he did have a war game with Andromeda's Edge. And we had no war games, so he gained 1 victory over one of his opponents for that. So that will be 4 points times 1. So he's got a total of 18 points. Unfortunately, he was not able to get his A structure online, so he will not score for that one. And then for the trees, he has 2, and he reached the 2 multipliers, so he'll gain 4 points for his trees. For a grand total of 52 points. And just for fun, his highest ranked card is Hansa Teutonica with a ranking of 147. But there it is. Those are the final results. That was a trouncing. R114 to Yeti's 52. I was worried that we were spending too much engine building and not catching up with Yeti's momentum. And maybe if he had been able to cross that finish line a little bit faster, or at all, but if he had been able to push a little faster, we might not have been able to capitalize on the engine building we were doing quite as much. So that's one of the tensions, but obviously it worked out well for us in this case. And again, the other big thing to keep in mind when watching this playthrough is this is all happening simultaneously. And so that's one of the challenges of watching a playthrough like this is you don't quite get the same sense of how snappy the turns typically are. People are doing their stuff at the same time. And even though that's happening, it's not multiplayer solitaire because you are paying attention to what other people are doing and how they're building their displays out, and that can have an effect on you. But because this is all going off at the same time, it tends to flow pretty quickly, and the game moves along at a good clip. But I hope one way or another, this playthrough gave you a good sense of how it plays and some of the decisions that you might find yourself making and the way that you kind of piece together some strategies. And it's certainly a joy to come across all these different games and fight that tension of, do I build this game because I love it, or do I build it because it's going to score me points? But I hope that you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching and hanging out, and until our next time, we'll see you on our next expedition.